Hey, we're Attention Trading, a full-service digital marketing agency that helps small and mid-sized businesses with their strategic marketing efforts. From websites, design, social media, and ads, our goal is to create marketing alignment for our clients. You may not realize it, but the majority of businesses lack a solid marketing strategy and plan. That's where we come in. On this show, we talk with business owners, founders, and marketers to uncover the secrets of their success when it comes to starting and scaling a business. This is the Attention Trading Podcast. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Attention Trading Podcast, where we talk with CEOs, owners, founders, and marketers about how they grow, scale, and operate their business. My name is Max Lowy. I'm here with my co-founder of Attention Trading, Steve Alves. We've got a fun one today. So today joining us is Alex Shapiro, co-founder and CEO of CanMonkey, the crew that basically said, yeah, we'll take out the trash for you. What started as a simple idea has turned into a nationwide logistics machine, helping homeowners, HOAs, property managers never miss trash day again. Their app connects users with local can runners who handle the dirty work, literally turning one of life's most annoying chores into an on-demand convenience business. Alex, welcome to the Attention Trading Podcast.
Max, Steve, thank you. This is a pleasure. And I got to steal that intro. I'm going to use that again. And that was phenomenal. I don't know if that was ChatGPT or you, but that was great. That was money. That was,
I do what I can. So I'll take the win there. We're super excited to have you here and here to learn about CanMonkey. And I do need to point this out. I know I pointed it out a minute ago, but I love it. I'm loving the hat. I'm loving the style. Obviously, we're on to something here because, it just looks great.
I love it. Trash is not sexy. So anything we can do to kind of, spice things up a little bit and get the attention to us and into our, our service, we'll do it. So a hat like this, it definitely helps, start a conversation.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, we like to just jump right in. I'm excited to, learn a little bit about you, learn about CanMonkey, kind of how it all started. So tell us what's up.
Awesome. So, it's a typical story, kind of like it's, I was a W-2 employee before. I was in title and escrow. I actually got my life insurance license back in 2010. Thought I was gonna be a financial advisor. It's in my family. But 2010, after graduating college, none of my friends really had money, or they had, extra money to put in investments. So I kind of pivoted into the real estate industry and started working in title and escrow and started just working with a lot of investors here in the Scottsdale, Arizona market. Fast forward, I had a business partner who started CanMonkey, taking trash cans to the curb and thinking in this do it for me kind of economy, there has to be a company out there that already does it for you, and there wasn't. And so he kind of started for himself in Scottsdale, had his son do it. His son wasn't taking the trash cans to the curb. It became an even bigger mess. I think he had a couple neighbors at the time. And but he was kind of on to something. It just wasn't really working out. And that's kind of where my background in title and escrow and marketing and having these investors, and some of them were converting their long-term rentals into short-term rentals, these STRs. And this is back in 2018. And at lunch one day, one of my clients who had 20 short-term rentals was complaining about the trash cans. And I was like, what's going on with the trash cans? He goes, one has to go out this day, one has to go back the next day. I asked my cleaners to do it. I asked the guests to do it. No one does it. Like, I wish there was a company that could do it. I was like, holy shit. Like, I have a buddy that literally does that. And he goes, no way. I'd pay $100 a month per property. And that's when like the light bulb went off. I'm like, oh my gosh, like maybe my buddy's onto something. So I went to my buddy. I was like, hey, I know you're going after homeowners. I'll buy in. I want to invest, but let's go after the STR market. And he's like, what's STRs? I'm like, short-term rentals. And that was kind of like the beginning of it. And again, I say we got really lucky. Again, a lot of it's just, the preparation and just keep doing it and not quitting and not giving up. But a lot of things just kind of work out. Again, like unbeknownst to us, Scottsdale was a short-term rental mecca. So at this time when we kind of created this, idea of taking trash cans to the curb, there was already just a lot of people here doing Airbnb. So it kind of, filled up that pain point of what they needed with the trash cans. And then the pandemic happened. I lost my job in corporate America. I had this side hustle that had about 250 properties just in Scottsdale. Wasn't enough to pay the bills and wasn't enough to really think that it was going to take off, but it's what we had. during that time when I got laid off, I think everyone was day trading at the time. So I was day trading. I had some money in the E-Trade. I was doing somewhat well. I was like, okay, this is sustainable, but actually it wasn't. So I was like, I'll do this as long as I can. I have money for the rest of the year of 2020. Let's see what happens. And I'll focus on CanMonkey. And at that time, one of our clients here was like, hey, you guys are doing a great job for our properties in Scottsdale. Can you help us in Park City? I was like, holy shit, you guys are in Park City? And they're like, yeah, we're in several different states. So that's when like our world just kept getting bigger and bigger. We never really started this. Like, I don't have a logistical background. I don't have a sales background. I don't have a software background. I'm just a hustler that just gets shit done. And one thing leads to another. And that's where we're at now with 31 states, 750 cities, 6,000 properties, taking trash cans to the curb and back now in 2025. So there's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. But at for a long time, I was the crazy guy taking trash cans to the curb when it didn't make sense. But now here we are.
Very cool. It's it's super interesting that you didn't have like that logistics background, because I could see how logistics play a major role in what you guys are doing. So when you first started, like, they weren't working with short-term rentals. It was more just like they were going after everyone and anyone. And then that's okay. So, and was it growing at that point? Like, did they have clients?
No. So like the first year that he started CanMonkey, I wasn't even involved in. In the first year, he ran it like a true business. When I mean true business, he had a website. He had, marketing materials. He was sending out mailers. He was doing PR. He was like on the news through the PR. He bought a car, a Fiat. He got it wrapped. Yeah. Everything you think you need to do a business. And I think in the first year they had 19 properties. He says 25, but let's call it 20. And that first client I brought over, my buddy, he had 20 properties. So in one day, we were able to double the business in 1 year. So that's where we saw, holy shit, okay, not that homeowners and elderly and disabled are people that we shouldn't go after. It's just a longer sales process. What's the easier sales process? What's the low-hanging fruit? Low-hanging fruit are these short-term rentals, these property managers, these Airbnbs, the ones that have a pain point for the trash, just like my buddy did when I was at lunch with him, saying, holy shit, my issues, not getting guests to the property, not cleaning the property. It's the trash cans. So again, like, a lot of my mindset comes from the real estate industry, where I had to read a lot of books about real estate. One of them was Gary Keller, The One Thing. And that one thing concept has always stayed with me with CanMonkey. So my one thing is making sure I do a really good job taking the trash cans to the curb and back. And again, when it's just you doing 20 properties, it's fairly easy because it's you doing 20 properties. Yeah, it might take you a little bit longer, but you know what's going on because you're actually doing it. Now, when you start outsourcing it to other individuals, we call them can runners. These can runners, the gig economy, to now giving them a route and then doing it. Now you're trusting someone else to do as good of a care as you would. And so this is where these systems and processes had developed. And then again, at the top of every mountain is just the beginning of the next mountain. So when you think you accomplished something, you think you figured it out, it breaks. And then you're like, okay, crap, that worked for 500 properties, but it's not going to work for 1,000. And what works for 1,000 is not going to work for 2,000, and so on. And our systems are still breaking. But when they break, it now makes us evolve. So now our systems are ready for 8,500 properties because now we evolve. So you kind of keep doing this. So like, yeah, when you look at it now and you're like, how the hell did you do this? I don't even know either. I pinch myself every day. But when I look back on the last 5-6 years of doing it, it's just been a gradually pivot until you get something that works. So now you're like, you know what? If it works in this market and this is how a route looks and this is what we need, let's copy and paste this for the next market and then next market. And that's all we're doing now is just taking what worked in Scottsdale, worked in the Phoenix market, and just replicating that across the country.
So I have a question about the technology aspect of this, because you say it's like you would do some things, because I come from a tech background, and then it would break, and you do something else and it break, and that's synonymous with technology, right? Everything always breaks all the time, no matter how many you try to predict the future of what's going to happen. What are some of the biggest challenges you've had with technology? Is it like server space? Is it expectation of growth? Is it just the utilization of certain technologies? Like, what was the biggest and hardest thing for you guys to get over?
All of the above. So in the beginning, you're just using off-the-shelf apps, and off-the-shelf apps are just apps that are on the Apple Store right now. So we were using one in the beginning that helped us. We found it. It was more for courier businesses. We're not a real courier business, but that was the closest thing that we could find. Yeah, there's like some pool routes out there. There's some, jobber apps out there, but there's nothing for our business. So again, the system worked, and it worked when we had 5, 10, 25, 30 can runners. But then when you start paying $35 a can runner a month and you're collecting, now it starts adding up. You're like, okay, crap, I can't keep scaling larger and larger and larger at this rate. So eventually we're going to have to build our own app. So we built our own app. And so now we have a CTO that got really lucky in that. It's my best friend's older brother, who literally, we called him on the day that he left his company that he was at for like 15 years and was like, yeah, I could do that. And we're like, really? And now what we have 4 years later is, we have a really great application that's on the Apple Store. But we got really lucky. So again, I don't know the O's and ones. I don't know anything about that, but he does tell us about it. And it's all about who you surround yourself with in your team. For an example, right now that we're having about, we have 1,600 routes a week that we have scheduled. That's over 60,000 stops a month. Sunday kind of starts our week, Monday, and going forward. Monday is our biggest day. So just recently, our biggest day is Monday, and our systems and our app is not being able to take all the stuff. So we actually had it shut down a little bit a couple of weeks ago. Too much messaging going back and forth, too much things that is overbearing our one software engineer. So now he's focusing on that. So he had to do something. He did something in the update of the app. I don't know what it was, but that was like a couple of weeks ago. Now we haven't had any issues. That was kind of scary. We're like, oh crap, okay, what's going to happen now? But now he's like, hey, now I had to upload more software server, more space, whatever it is. We use here.com for some of the app, like all these things that we're using, it's built for a certain way. And so when we start getting to a certain caliber, you probably know more than this I do, it kind of breaks a little bit. So we got to kind of fix that. So now, I said earlier, we're built now for like 8,500 properties, for now the system's on there. And the individuals that we have in our company, we only have, we have 8 full-time employees. That's including myself, my CFO, the CTO, and the team that helps us run all these routes. I run it kind of like the mafia, where you have like the underboss, the boss, the general, and then you have the soldiers. The soldiers are my can runners. I have my, the generals, which are like the individuals in the office right now that manage all the routes in different areas. I have the people under me who are like the bosses, and then I'm the underboss. I should never be involved in anything, but I know exactly where to go anywhere in the city, the state, the route, to figure out what the issue was and how to fix it. Again, when we're all in one area, it's easy to fix things, but I can walk right out to talk to the same person that, is controlling that app. So again, like software is great, technology is great, but to your point, like now we're kind of like, a slave to it. But in a good way, we wouldn't have been able to scale without it. So you kind of need it, and you just kind of have to kind of keep it at bay, but also in a way where it's working for you, and not hindering you. Because again, if the system's broke, then we're nothing. But again, if we didn't have the systems, we wouldn't be able to scale to where we're at right now.
It's always interesting to me because like these businesses get built, right? The majority of these, like in these days, there's not a lot of brick and mortar for a lot of the businesses. They're all online, where their brick and mortar is their technology, right? They go from being a can service to being a technology company. Just happens to do trash services, right? So like to invest that much money makes sense to me, right? Like you're
Oh, sorry to cut you off. No, that's exactly it. Because again, like when I was telling you guys earlier, like I'm not this background. So when they start telling me about my business, they're like, "Oh, you have a double-sided marketplace." I don't even know what a double-sided marketplace was. Like when they're saying that, like you have a pass. I'm like, "What's a pass?" Like a platform. Like all these things. Like we didn't build it to become those things. Like we built it because that's what our business needed. And then now you look at it, and now I think it's awesome because they're like, this is a great MRR business. I didn't know what MRR was. I mean, it sounds kind of silly, but again, like we weren't planning it for MRR. We weren't planning it for the ARR. We weren't planning it for being a marketplace or a double-sided marketplace to where our revenue now is 8 to 12 times. Like that wasn't the thought process. The thought process was, okay, we got a little bit too far into this. Okay, we got routes that are going. Okay, people are trusting us now. Okay, we got to keep going. We got to keep putting money into it. The first 4 years, I wasn't making any money. All the money was going right back into the business. But now, like I said, we have light at the end of the tunnel. Now it's, we're hitting profitability. Now we're hitting scalability, sustainability, all the 3 things that they're looking for, in a business. We're still bootstrapped, done all this without a Series A or pre-seed or anything. And so now we have this amazing rocket ship that just needs more fuel in it to let more people know that the service exists.
Is a Series A or any kind of seed funding like in your future? Is that something you guys want to do? Is there like is it, and I don't mean to call it a pump and dump, but like, are you trying to like build this up and sell to somebody?
Like if you would have asked me 3 years ago, it's like, okay, this is a business I would have kept in my family's life forever because, if at a certain scale, at a certain point, you're not printing money, but it's monthly recurring revenue. The churn rate's really low. I mean, as long as our routes and condensity of those routes look good and we're able to build on it, our profitability goes up. So really, no, I don't necessarily need to. But then we are in the Inc. 5000. We got Business Insider, journals. We're in different publications that people, find out about us. And, people see that and they reach out to us. So we've had probably over 100 meetings over the last 3-4 years with different VCs, private equity firms. Everyone loves their business. No one says a bad idea. If anything, we're too soon. There's no one bigger than us. It's hard to kind of compare. It's kind of hard to
evaluate.
We know what our valuation is. Doesn't mean that's what someone else thinks their valuation is. If anything, they're going to want to put our valuation lower, even though they think it's a really good business. At the same time, it's like our end buyers could be anywhere from Uber, Grubhub. It could be Waste Management, Republic Services. And we're just getting started. So again, now I'm learning this. We'll finish this year at 4 million ARR. I'm trying to get this to 10 million ARR. If I'm getting a 10 times return, it's $100 million business. And at that point, why not sell? But also at that point, if I took no other backing and had raised nothing because it didn't align with us, well, then I don't really need it. So it's kind of like a catch-22. Like, I mean, it'd be amazing to have capital. I mean, there was a competitor that has copied us that was actually clients of ours several years ago that is like a sixth of where we're at right now. And they just raised $3 million. I don't know what the valuation was, but if anything, I love that. People are like, are you mad? I'm like, I'm not mad at all, because now I could go to a VC and say, this guy has 1,000 properties, just raised $3 million. I'm not sure what the valuation is, but I got 6,000 properties. I'm way bigger than they are. I got the technology already. What are you going to evaluate us now? In the beginning, I had nothing to compare us to. Right. So again, like, we're very, very, very new. Like, when we built this company and we did our trademarks and copyrights, they created the category can to curb for us. So there was no can to curb companies before. There might be a landscaper doing it or a cleaning company do it, but there's no company just doing can to curb. So now we locked that up. We have CanMonkey, Can Runner, Never Take the Trash Out Again, and all these different trademarks that are for our business. And we opened up the competition. I'd rather be the second person that someone hears about and then says, hey, this other company sucks. Can you use me, or can I use you? And I'm like, of course, add you on my route. Because when you're the first, they expect it to be really easy. They expect this to be a simple process. And you're at the property sometimes 2-4 times a week, 16 times a month. You make one mistake, it's like, you guys suck. I knew it. Yeah. It's like, whoa.
I know people are so harsh these days.
So harsh.
But no, your point is so valid. I mean, like, again, we got connected on LinkedIn and I just started doing a little research. I was like, I mean, it makes so much sense. I've never heard of it before, but like, this is so smart. And so I was like, we got to have a conversation with them because it's a cool idea and it seems like it's working. And I can see just from my research, like, all of these avenues where it makes a lot of sense for you guys to tap into, and that STR market. Yeah. Absolutely. Is there any kind of conversations with like municipalities on like that kind of level? Mm-hmm. I saw like, you're doing stuff with some HOAs and regular homeowners as well, but like, I'm just thinking municipality wise, like, is there anything happening?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, the sky's the limit. I mean, again, it just comes back to, having the right support. So again, to like Steve's point, why would I raise capital? Why would I do that? To have the different avenues to go after all these different, I mean, it's really overwhelming. I mean, when you think about 750 cities and then marketing, and you're just kind of, I'm still the sales guy. I'm still the marketing guy. I'm wearing still a lot of hats. So they kind of break that all down and be like, okay, what city am I going to go after? Which is the best one? Like, it's really overwhelming. So to your point, like, we have relationships with the city of Scottsdale. We have relationships with Panama City in Florida, Sedona, city of Sedona. Some of these have just happened because they had heard about us. We're in their area. And when people do call and have issues with taking trash cans to curb, they'll tell them to refer them to CanMonkey. They might say Trash Monkey, they might say Monkey Can, but it ended up coming to CanMonkey, and that's no
just real register all those domain names.
We have all the SEO, and it's awesome because a lot of these they already have solutions. Like, I mean, like, some of these cities have their own cities provide the can to curb, but they don't like doing it. The truck drivers don't like getting out of the truck. It's a waste of their time. They feel like, sometimes the cans are empty. Now they just wasted, time getting out of the car. Truck's sitting idle. So they don't do it. And there's no documentation of doing it. If anything, they'll say, oh, just go back the next day. And then now it's kind of a waste. And with us, they really like having that transparency where they have everything like in their own viewing. They have the photos of the cans at the curb. Because again, majority of our clients are these short-term rentals, property managers who are running a business, who are, living off 5-star reviews. And the easiest thing to complain about, whether it's a guest or the neighbor who hates the Airbnb, is a trash can at the curb or a trash can, overflowing or whatever it may be. So having photos of that is really good. So back to your point now, Max, with the homeowners, it's a great selling point for a homeowner, but to your point right there, like you're now thinking about it. Doesn't mean you need it right now, but maybe go on vacation with the family in a couple of weeks. You're like, what, maybe I need it then. Then you try the 2-week free and you're like, no, that was great. You come back home and you keep it on. Like once someone uses it, they don't go back taking their own trash cans to the curb. Yeah. It's just a little bit longer of a sales process, just like my business partner did in the first year. But again, now that I'm able to expand into 31 states, 700 cities with all these routes out there, now if a onesie twosie says, oh my God, that's a great service, I need it, I'm a homeowner, or hey, my grandparents need it because I don't want them to fall during the wintertime right now, I'm going to buy it for my grandparents, which typically happens now. And that wasn't like an audience we were going after, like adult children for their parents. But that's where a lot of these people are signing up for now. So again, like now, how do we target Medicare, Medicaid? How do we target like the 55 and older communities? How do we target single ladies that are over 65 who are living by themselves? Like the amount of TAM that is out there for us is so much more than Airbnbs. I mean, if I really looked at the Airbnbs aspect of it, just in America, I think realistically it's probably 100,000 properties I could get that are single family residences. Just 100,000 would be way more than enough for us to have a huge business. Now add in the elderly, add in the disabled, add in the people that live in the wealthy areas of Park City and all the ski resorts in Sedona, that second homes, third homes. I mean, it's millions. So now if I got 1 million people paying $50 a month for, a service, and I can upsell on-demand trash removal and can cleaning and all these other services that they might need, it's a great business. I don't need anything else.
It's funny because you say can cleaning, because when I saw this service and like I was immediately thinking of that service, and that's the service that like I'm like, that's brilliant. Mm-hmm. Like not to say that yours is not, because it's also brilliant, but when I was looking at that, I'm like, oh, that would be such a match made. Like that'd be so good to do this too.
And it is a great match with CanMonkey. Those individuals running those own businesses, it's very hard. And it just goes back to the same thought process of even Can to Curb. It's a great business. It is, but you need the volume. And that's the hardest part in anything, is like really you're getting the volume. So like those guys, I don't buy those trucks. Like I'm like I own
a lot of overhead.
I own no cars. I own no trucks. I own no homes. I'm just a matchmaker of everything. And so again, like when I outsource the on-demand trash removal, I'm looking for local vendors in those areas that I can negotiate a good price with them, because I have 100 properties in the area. And so I'm saying, hey, I need this done. Can you do it? They're like, yeah, I can do it for 75. Okay, great. Can I put 10, 20% on top of it, get to my client? Okay, great. I made some money too. And if not, it's there for an insurance policy. If I ever make a mistake and they say, hey, on the app, I saw that you took my neighbor's can out by accident, I'll empty out the cans free of charge. So again, I have these on-demand trash removal there, not just for my own needs, but also because the clients call me and say, hey, guests are checking out, new guests are checking in, city doesn't come for 4 more days, I need the trash gone. Gotcha. Send it to my team, they go remove it, and just made some extra revenue right there. Same thing with can cleaning. We offer quarterly subscription, monthly subscription. I collect all the data, collect all the addresses, I build it on a route, I give it to a local vendor that now will go in their truck and do it. And so it is a great business, but you need some good partners like that, again, with HOAs or different, you need the volume of those properties, especially when you're driving a big truck like that, and you have the water and the maintenance, you have liability, and you have hourly salary people. It gets a lot more into it.
So super interesting. I'm glad we're kind of turning this convo a little bit into data marketing, right? Obviously, we're a full service marketing agency, so that's where we typically thrive, right? And so, for me, I look at the business, right? And you're basically turning trash day into like a brand people actually talk about, which is not easy. Like before, like trash is not sexy, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you make it sexy? Has there been any specific marketing approaches or campaigns that you guys have done, whether it was a massive campaign, super guerrilla marketing, just like anything
campaign?
That you felt,
Sorry, I apologize.
I love that.
That was so bad.
It was so bad. I'm trying to help you and go over it. But has there been anything that you can like that you're either super proud of or even like super surprised about that really worked for you?
Honestly, the best marketing has just been the same marketing I've done for every one of my businesses, is really just reaching out on LinkedIn. I mean, it doesn't sound anything, hard, but reaching out to individuals, CEOs, HR people, COOs, individuals in the vacation rental space, Airbnbs, reaching out to those people in marketing has just been the easiest. Some of the larger things that we have done, we did a billboard, and we are proud of this, but it's also kind of a funny story. So we had a billboard, 2 sides in Scottsdale, and we went really big. And we're like, no, this is what we're going to do in every single market. And we're kind of playing on words, just kind of like the campaign kind of. So we had one side that said, we'd love to handle your cans. And on the other side, it says, we pull out in time. And so we thought it was clever. We got a lot of calls. It literally clearly was a guy with a trash can saying, like, we pull out in time. It was during like the Wade versus Roe versus Wade kind of thing a couple of years ago, and some mobs didn't like it. They got taken down, so it got taken down in 30 days, which also added into more marketing, because now I was kind of playing the fact of, free speech and what's wrong with this? Why can't we, Amazon has, let me handle your package. If I can't even have, we pull out in time. And so we definitely used it. We have a lot of marketing. We still use it, but that's something that's still, they say like no publicity, or someone's talking to you is good, whatever it is. Like, it's that same kind of concept. So we knew that it was going to cause some kind of issues with it. But again, we want to do it again, maybe in Vegas or maybe in Austin, Texas, maybe somewhere they might be a little bit more accepting of those kind of, terms. But again, like to your point, it's how do you make trash day, which is what people go through every single day of the week. Like everyone has it, whether you live in a house or apartments or condos, even though we don't do apartments and condos, but everyone has trash. Trash never sleeps. So again, it's just getting that message out to the public, which has been the hardest part. And again, if they do hear it and they love it, it's now finding the right time of when it works for them in their life to say, you know what, I'm going to add this other service on. It's $50 a month. I wasn't paying this before, but now let me do it. And it usually is a pain point that needs to happen in a homeowner's point of view. Again, the vacation rental side has just been easier. The business side of it has been a lot easier because, again, I just go on LinkedIn. It was the same thing I was doing when I was selling life insurance. Same thing I was doing when I was selling title insurance. If I'm selling anything, I'm going on LinkedIn. How you guys found me on LinkedIn? It's like LinkedIn is the best way to find CEOs, like the specific titles of individuals that you're looking for, and you get really niche. Now, on the grand scheme of things, I think billboards, TV ads, radio ads, which we haven't done yet, but that's another thing that we want to do because, again, that's what the thought process is. I go to the gym in the morning, I listen to the radio, you hear these different businesses, not that I would use them per se, but now they're in my mind. So that would be the next wave of marketing that we would go to.
So it's oh, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. Any digital marketing efforts? Any social stuff?
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, of course. So like another, I kind of forgot about that. Yeah. I do a lot of our marketing. I do all of our marketing. So I'm really big on like memes right now. It's just like I'm really creative, and I'll see a meme for something else. And if I'm like, okay, how can I turn this into trash, or how can I turn this into trash day? I'll do it. Cause again, like I can't talk about Miss Trash Day. Like there's so many things you can talk about so often. It's like now if you went to CanMonkey, our Instagram page, you just see a bunch of videos of these memes of just stupid stuff that it's just like repetitive, but it's just that I get so many compliments of it, and people say, oh, I saw that. So it's just a way for us to stay top of mind. And again, we're not talking about anything but just trash day, whatever it may be. And it's like videos of someone missing trash day and running out to the street. And it's just like someone else going through it. And I just might put in there, stop missing trash day, CanMonkey, just something silly like that. But again, it's very hard to come up with something with marketing, but every day about trash cans, there's only so much you can say. So those memes on the social media definitely help.
I mean, if it was us and I was running your marketing, I'm not gonna lie, I would promote our efforts for you as though our marketing is trash. I would totally say that.
I like that. Oh yeah. Yeah, I feel like you can have a lot of fun with the brand. And so, where my mind goes, because again, trash is not sexy, but I think there's a lot of ways you can get really creative, funny, punny, just to, again, drive attention. And like, it sounds like you're doing a ton of organic, which is awesome. It sounds like you have a vision for, the radio, TV and things like that, more traditional style. So that's really cool to hear. As far as data that you're capturing, how are you utilizing? What kind of data are you utilizing? Because again, it kind of happens on the same day, right? But like, are you seeing, because you could do extra pickups, right? So are you able to send out a proactive notification about something for maybe like the 4th of July. Okay. Maybe they're prepping and they need a early pickup or a late pickup or whatever that looks like. Are you doing that kind of marketing at all?
You must be in our meetings. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's so again, like data is the new dollar. And that's something that we kind of realize on our end. We're collecting all this data. So you're right, trash recycling cans, it's the same every week. So say your trash goes out on Tuesday, your recycling goes out on Thursday. We're there the day before, both days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 4 days a week we're at your property. Again, besides the data that we actually collect at your property, I also know, for example, Max's property is in Scottsdale, but his mailing address is in Washington State. So now I know that Max doesn't live here. He lives in Washington State. So now I can also sell him other services. Hey, Max, is there any other services that you need in Arizona? Do you need your landscaping? Do you need your pool company? We had CanMonkey. So we had another services that we created. So now we were able to upsell other services. So I'm not just collecting $49 a month from you. I can now collect some other revenue from you from these other services that I can now know because you don't live in the state. People ask us, hey, can you pick up my news? Can you check out my propane tank? Can you make sure it's filled? Can you check out my barbecue? So there's all these other services that we have reached out to individuals that live in different states if we're trying to drum up other revenue. At the same time, to your point earlier, if we're at your property and we're taking the can to the curb on Wednesday and there's boxes all around the ground, we'll take photos of that. We send you a real-time notification to your client dashboard saying, hey, Max or Steve, just want to let you know that we took your can to the curb, but there's these bags on the ground. Would you like us to remove these for you, or do you want to take care of it yourself? Press 1 or 2. 1 for us, 2 for you. They hit 1, so now we go and schedule it automatically with our on-demand. So now we're just filling up routes for ourselves for the on-demand side of it. Again, and we know if they're a homeowner, and we know if they're a vacation rental. So that the messaging might be different. If it's a homeowner, I'm not going to push them if they want me to do it on-demand because they live there. They might say, oh, no, I can do it myself. But if they're a homeowner, I might say, hey, your cans stink. Do you want us to do the can cleaning for the next quarterly schedule? Oh, I would love to. So just sending a message saying your cans stink, and it's not really lying because cans do stink. I mean, my cans get cleaned and they stink right afterwards. So saying your cans stink is kind of, safe to say. And they might go out there and say, no, they smell great. Okay. We won't do it then. But again, like we have this data on our end. We actually even got as far as having State Farm reach out to us. There was a hailstorm here not too long ago in Arizona. And, a client of ours was dealing with State Farm, and they were complaining about hailstorm on the side. And I guess they didn't have enough evidence to prove that it was there before. And the State Farm said, do you have any photos of the side of your house? And they're like, well, why would I have photos of the side of my house? And then the husband said, CanMonkey takes photos of the trash can at the side of the house. So we went through our data of the week before and sent them the photos and some of the photos of what they had now. And it was evident that there was damage that wasn't there. So these photos
they are a customer for life now.
They are customer for life. I mean, we even had a photo of, this doesn't happen all the time out of all the routes, but we had a photo of a garage leaking out water, and the can runner, issued a report of water leaking out, and we had didn't even go through our systems. Like we didn't even see it management. A couple of days later, I got a call from our clients. Thank you. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, you're welcome. What happened? They're like, you guys just saved us, like huge. I'm like, oh, we did? I'm like, what happened? Like, yeah, your can runner sent us an issue notification of water coming out of the garage. I sent our maintenance guy over there. We weren't going to have someone in the property for another 4 or 5 days. The hot water heater broke, and we caught it in time, so there wasn't a whole leak in the downstairs. And we had to thank you guys for it because we would have been there for 4 days, and you guys caught it on the right day. And it's just like, all right. So I now use when people say, hey, I need CanMonkey, but what happens if I don't have someone there 1 week, or what if I don't need it every week? Can I just turn it off? I say, well, it's a monthly subscription, so you already paid for it, so you can keep it going. What most people like is that it's a security reason. So you still have eyes on your property. We're still going there. The property still looks like it's occupied, not just sitting, like no one's there. And people really love that security aspect of it, having extra eyes on the property, because it is an asset and it is something that, you're trying to make money off of or trying to sell it one day. You want to make sure that it's good. And sometimes people call me and go, hey, I saw the photo. Whose car's at my driveway? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. That's not my I'm like, you should send someone over there. Like, all right, we will. So it's like, all right. So again, it's just like extra eyes. So we do have a lot of data on our end, and a lot of it we're not even capitalizing fully on. And other data that people want they want it. They want to know how many times a week that the cans are empty at a property. Right. That lets them know that it's sitting vacant. They want to know. Waste Management has reached out to us. How many gallons do you think you guys are putting? I don't know how many gallons are, but do you guys want to give me like an RDIF camera and I can put it in the cans and we can now schedule this for you? And Okay,
Right.
so like, we have this whole logistical like team out there, so it really is like endless of what we want to do. But back to the very beginning, I'm trying to focus on my one thing. My one thing is just being really good at taking the cans to the curb, but knowing we have all these different avenues that if I
Yeah.
want to start creating different revenue streams, it's just a matter of just turning it on and then going from there.
That's
I got
awesome.
a question about the stories you kind of
Yeah.
articulate for us. Please tell me that all that information is getting used for organic posts.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys are like divvying that out.
Yeah, so some of these stories are like stories that happened like years ago that I'm just telling you right now. But yeah, I mean, if you go on our social media, go on like I've made tons of videos. A couple of years ago, I probably made like 90 videos with a company, and all of them are just stories and just like kind of things that I still use on TikTok and still use out there on YouTube. And um, yeah, those stories are great. I mean, again, I go speak at different conferences, and these are the stories that people resonate with. And it's the stories that I'm not making up. It's stories that I'm saying from one person that other people have experienced too. And that's the cool thing is like starting this in Scottsdale in Arizona, but now being in, Washington State or Maine or Florida, like everyone you talk to has the same problems, the same pain points, the same stories. And I always
Yeah.
tell them like, I hate that I'm smiling right now. You're telling me this problem, but like I got a solution for you. And
Yeah.
I know how to fix it. And it's the same. It's the same stuff. It might be one area, it might be like bears and bear boxes. It might be like Sedona, like javelinas. Like it might be like different animals or different like neighbors are mad but it's like the same story. So I do resonate these stories, especially like if I'm looking for. I posted every day. I've stopped the last couple of weeks, but every day since 2023, I posted on LinkedIn and something, and it would be a story like this. It would be something along the lines of, because I don't know what to say. So what do I say? Oh, what happened yesterday? Here's a story. So these are definitely things that I've used in our marketing. Because again, like how we've been able to grow and scale has been like, I'm not bragging, but like I'm the only sales guy. And so everything I'm doing right now is
It's working.
everything. Yeah, it's everything. And again, like I would love to like 10x it by getting
Yeah.
a real team, but we're still being really bootstrapped right now.
Well, it sounds like you're being super real, super authentic, and that's what resonates with people.
Mm-hmm.
We see it across the board with all of our clients in all different industries, and I think again, people get it. There's a frustration, you have a solution. So I love it. I will say this is probably the trashiest conversation I've had in a while. I know Steve likes to typically end with a question, which I think I already know the answer to this one. But Steve, I'm going to let you ask this question anyways. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean this question always comes up because it's A, my general curiosity, and B, as I literally just turned 39 yesterday.
Okay.
So like in my mind, I'm like with 12-year-old Steve, think what 39-year-old Steve would be doing today? And the answer is absolutely not. Like there's nothing like that. So for you, do you think your 12-year-old self will look back on who you are today and be like, yeah, I'd totally be doing that. I'd be in the trash business, 100%.
I'm 37, turning 38 in February, and absolutely not. And again, there's no way ever. I wasn't even an entrepreneur kind of guy, and I tell people when people ask me about my opinion on like when should they quit their job and ask me about going, I'm the worst person to ask because I honestly think if I never got like fired during the pandemic, I would never have gone all in on CanMonkey, which is kind of sad to think about. But I was a W-2, ride the ladder all the way up to the top, executive. I've been doing it since I was 22 at the time. I was, in my young 30s at the time. And no way. Like, why would you give that up? And so, but now looking on the other side, I'm so glad. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you ends up being the best thing. And so you don't know it in the time. You just kind of have to look back on it. And again, like there's, very cliche stuff when people say like, just, commit and the universe will assist and everything will work out, and you're like, what the fuck? No, it won't. It really does. It really does. And again, I'm sounding cliche giving that advice out, but it's when I started committing to CanMonkey, just things start unlocking, and the world started getting a little bit bigger, and not it wasn't so scary, and I started realizing like, holy shit, maybe I am onto something. And when I was about to quit, I had a good conversation with someone that day that ended up saying something that I needed to hear to keep me going, or whatever it may be. And like I said earlier, like there's light at the end of the tunnel, but there's for a long time. I was like, I'm going to go back to title and escrow. I'm going to go back to W-2. That was my security blanket. And also the thing that scared me, at the same time, like, I don't want to go back to that because look how far I've come. So
100%.
to answer that question, it's no way. I was always in, no way. And again, I was telling you earlier, I don't know how I'm even a logistical software CEO of a double-sided marketplace. Like, that sounds so foreign to me. And when I get asked to speak on things, I still have this imposter syndrome, which, because I'm like, what am I supposed to? I'm supposed to be an executive. I'm supposed to be told what to do and get, and so it's kind of weird. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but
we all are. We're all doing that.
I was going to say, I think we all are. I don't think anyone has really figured it out. And so I talk to people who are, years behind where I'm at in CanMonkey, and they just look, they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get to where you're at. So like having those conversations are good reminders of, okay, shit, I've come so far. Okay. I know that you want to hit 10,000 properties, but be happy at 6. Okay. You're content. So let's keep going. So absolutely. Yeah. Max had it. Yeah. No way.
I have, I have one more really quick question. Yeah. Are you having fun?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's to wake up to do something that only you and someone else thought that was possible. And then now you have 2,500 individual clients and 6,000 properties, and people wanting to invest in you, and people want to copy you, and people want what you have. Like, that's a really good feeling. It kind of sucks sometimes that people try to, take from you and hurt from you, but it means you have something. Yeah. And that's really fun. It's really fun, knowing that, like, I'm at home right now and I can, go to the office today if I want to, and I can pick up my kids from school today, and all that freedom, is amazing. And sometimes you think like, oh, I had freedom when I was working in corporate America, and like, you really didn't, like, you're at the beck and call of whoever was your boss at the time, and maybe didn't get along, didn't align with their values. And I have many stories for that too. But you got to choose your hard. And it's hard. Like you said, everything's hard, and you just got to figure it out.
Well, that's Alex, this is awesome. We love when someone takes something that kind of everyone overlooks, like Trash Day, right? And can turn it really into like a tech-enabled, scalable business. It's a perfect example of finding an opportunity in the ordinary. So congrats on the success so far. We're excited to kind of watch you from afar as well. Real quick, where can everyone find you? Where do you want people to go and check you out?
CanMonkey.com is our website. Check it out. You see our whole systems. You can see if we're in your area. If you're looking for the service, if you're looking for me, I'm K.Alexander Shapiro on LinkedIn. You'll find me on there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. CanMonkey's on Instagram and on Facebook. You can't miss me. But yeah, find me on social medias. You can check out our memes. Get a laugh here and there. And then you can see me on LinkedIn and see all the stories I talk and share about with our current clients and what we're going through and what's updating in CanMonkey's life.
Awesome. Love it. Alex, thanks so much again. Everyone, really appreciate you tuning in this week for another episode of the Attn Trdg Podcast. Peace. That's a wrap for this episode of the Attn Trdg Podcast, where we break down what's working in marketing so you can capture, convert, and keep attention. If you got something valuable today, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. For more insights and strategies, check us out at attntrdg.com.